And for him, this was a year well spent in Oklahoma City, and I think kind of rebooting his career, reminding everybody of how he can impact winning. He did that with the Thunder, with their young players, and now they'll ask him to do the same in Phoenix.
And I'm looking at this starting five. Now Chris Middleton is going to be the third option, which I believe he is anyway. Jrue Holiday is going to be the second option. Now you have Jrue Holiday who could close out games for you, with Giannis being the focal point, and you have Brook Lopez anchoring this defense with a Bogdanovich. Right now, today, if the season started today, this is the best starting five in the NBA, and there's no debate.
Well, I thought I was going to get on here and just talk about the CP3 trade by itself, but long and behold, Woj and Sham said F that, y'all don't get to sleep. Only the NBA does this to me, man. I love soccer transfers, I love NFL trades, but the NBA is just different. But to start off, the first real bomb we got was yesterday morning when the Phoenix Suns decided to make a play and trade for Chris Paul. And this is a very interesting trade for both sides. I've been looking at fan reactions and it sounds like both sides are pretty happy, which is good because overall I do think it's a win-win trade. The Thunder ended up trading Rubio, Oubre, Jalen Leck, Ty Jerome, and more importantly, another future first-round pick. You know, ever since the Harden trade happened, where they basically got fleeced, Sam Presti's been on his A game, especially as of late. A lot of people think small market teams are really set at an unfair advantage because they're not a place like LA, Chicago, or New York, which is true because over the years, big name free agents really don't think about going to Milwaukee or Charlotte. You know, they want to go to LA, Chicago, you know, these big name franchises with legacies. Everybody makes fun of these big market fan bases like the Lakers for basically saying they're gonna get every superstar, which as a Laker fan I can admit is crazy, but can you blame the fan base? Over the years they attracted the biggest superstars time in and time out. Hell, even in a rebuilding phase the Lakers are still able to get LeBron. Just like the Lakers, some big market teams just have that type of attraction. That's why the Supermax is important to keep these players in their small market cities, which is a family thing, but you know, I still think it's a good idea. But Sam Presti might have the blueprint or something because we can be talking about the Thunder being a championship contender in a few years. It's actually possible. We've seen what he did previously, creating that great core of KD, Westbrook, and Ibaka. They really had some great teams, but it really just didn't work out for many reasons, whether it was injuries or the whole Westbrook-KD dynamic. Now fast forward, he's back at it again, preparing to build another championship team. And over these last few years, he's been getting back some great value for his star players. As of today, the Paul George trade looks like a highway robbery. SGA, Gallinari, and more importantly, 7 first-round picks. Sam Presti's out here pulling a GTA gas station robbery on the Clippers. The Russell Westbrook trade, they got Chris Paul there, 2 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps on the side. Then present day, he got good value for Chris Paul considering his age and contract. Oubre, Rubio, Jalen Leck, Ty Jerome, and importantly, that 2022 draft pick. Considering his limited suitors, this really isn't bad at all. And also considering the fact they got a first-round pick and Danny Green out the Lakers for Dennis Schroeder. Man, Thunder fans aren't even that mad anyways, but at the moment, they're sitting on a haul of first-round picks. Sam Presti can do a money spread like Kodak with the amount of picks he has. It's ridiculous. And the scary part is they can possibly get even more assets along with those picks. It seems like Presti is going into full rebuild mode. Why not trade Gallinari, who contending teams need, and Kelly Oubre, Danny Green? So I really wouldn't be surprised if they deal these players in the coming weeks. Now overall, the question is, what is Sam Presti's overall plan, right? What is his end game? Because they have a lot of options moving forward. For those that don't know, the 2022 draft is getting a lot of hype, probably the most I've seen in my 21 years on this earth. The reason why, it's hyped up as a generational draft. Matter of fact, they already have a name, the double draft. But this is the year where high schoolers can start getting drafted again. The Thunder are sitting on a stack of assets, so if they don't trade for a current star, who knows, maybe they make their move and get some players in that 2022 draft. Regardless of what they do, Sam Presti still has them in a great situation. And it doesn't seem like nothing major right now because there's no present impact, but Thunder fans will start to get more excited in a few years when all of this starts to unfold. Now the other side of things, the Phoenix Suns have gotten better as well. I was talking to Suns fans and most of them are really happy about CP3 coming. Hell, most fans are just happy that they're back to competing again, especially after all they went through these last few years. But looking at this trade, it's a win for them because obviously they didn't give up any of their young core guys. Booker is still there, Bridges is still there, Aiden is still there, their number 10 pick surprisingly is still there. I know there's a lot of Suns fans out there that want to keep Oubre, but it was probably either him or Mikal Bridges. And at the moment, I think Bridges is the better fit on the Suns team moving forward than Oubre. So I really don't think Suns fans will be losing sleep over that, because now with this trade, they're probably going to be stable playoff contenders. I know people are hyped for them considering their undefeated bubble run, but considering how deep the West is, we looked at that team as really as a fun team, not a contender. But now with them having CP3, it makes you wonder, like, are they a championship contender? I think they're not right now, but given how CP3 impacted the Thunder, it does make you think, how far can this team go? Prediction wise, at the moment, I do see them being a playoff team, at least. Given how great they looked in the bubble, I would be a fool not to give them the benefit of the doubt to say that this team wouldn't make the playoffs with Chris Paul in charge. Now on paper, is this team going to be a threat to dethrone the Lakers or hell even beat the Clippers or Warriors? Probably not. I just don't see them as a championship contending team just yet. But regardless if they do become a contender or not, I think that this trade is pretty big in keeping Devin Booker happy. If I'm not mistaken, he hasn't been on a winning team since he's been in the NBA. Over these last few years, he's been giving tiny hints that he's getting frustrated with the Suns losing. But now times are looking up. Since Monty Williams came in, you really just got the feeling that this is not the same old Suns team. Now with Booker entering or already being in his prime, you get him with CP3, and now with the rest of the roster, this is basically a playoff contending team. Now people will counter this trade and say this wasn't smart for the Suns. Sure, there's a chance you could draft a star, but by the time that happens, it might be like Anthony Davis when Zion come. Devin Booker might get impatient and just take his talent somewhere else. This trade was big on at least showing Devin Booker that they're willing to make these moves to compete. So Suns fans out there, I would be very happy at what went down today. You guys took a step forward. Same with the Thunder. I think they took a step forward. And for that, I think that's a win-win for both sides. Now on to the late night trade. The Bucks surprisingly came away with Jrue Holiday. And not only him, they got Bogdanovic. Big boy moves by the Bucks front office. All summer, the talk of town was, what's Giannis' future with the Bucks? Is he gonna stay? Is he gonna go? It was obvious that the team needed reinforcements because that Bucks team, as constructed, really wasn't good enough to win a championship. Sure, the regular season was great. I believe they have the best defensive rated team of all time. 60 wins, Giannis back-to-back MVPs, Chris Middleton All-Star, all of that. But most people did not care about any of that because we wanted to see the Bucks in the playoffs. And in the second round, all our concerns about the Bucks just came to light. The Heat wall defense worked. They punched him in the mouth the first 3 games. Then by the time the Bucks really started to fight back, Giannis got hurt and it was too late. And considering that Giannis is becoming a free agent next year, you got the sense that the Bucks had to make some type of big boy move. A move that could have been honestly prevented if they kept Malcolm Brogdon. Eric Bledsoe is a good player, let's not get it twisted, but his fit and spacing wise with Giannis, especially in the playoffs, it just doesn't work. A guy like Malcolm Brogdon, a guy who could shoot on perimeter, would have obviously made the Bucks more dangerous. But now with him not being there, they have no choice but to make a desperate big boy move. Because if not, it could have made a Giannis decision to leave the Bucks way more easy. But lo and behold, the front office made a move and pulled off Jrue Holiday, a player who is obviously a big upgrade for Eric Bledsoe. Now the question is, were the Thanos at what cost? I'm looking at this trade and I'm a little concerned for the Bucks. Obviously they're in all-in mode to keep Giannis, but look what they had to give up. Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, not too bad honestly. But look, 3 first-round picks and 2 future pick swaps. I mean, that's a lot for Jrue Holiday. Also, shout out to the Pelicans too, because they have a bright future along with the Thunder as well. David Griffin and Sam Presti, they're getting praised a lot and they deserve it. We're going to be looking at them teams in a few years, especially with the Pelicans having Zion. They're really giving out the blueprint for how small market teams should move. But back to the Bucks. They went in desperation mode to keep Giannis, and I do think they overpaid a bit for Jrue Holiday. He's an obvious upgrade being the 2-way star that he is, but I don't know if that takes them over the top. Now, they also got Bogdanovic too. He's a great offensive player that's going to give Giannis the spacing that he needs. But is that truly enough to get him a championship? I don't know. I don't think so. The Heat are probably going to improve, and that's regardless of a James Harden super team with KD and Kyrie by themselves. They're going to improve, and they're going to be really dangerous. The Celtics, if they get a true center, the Raptors are still around. All these teams are going to be threats next year. And can I 100% for sure say that the Bucks are going to go to the finals with these moves? At the moment, I can't. Holiday, Middleton, Bogdanovic, Giannis, and Brook Lopez. I mean, that's one of the best starting 5 lineups in the league, hands down. And kudos for the Bucks doing what they had to do to keep Giannis, but I'm afraid it's going to go back to the whole Giannis thing. Regardless of what this team looks like, his overall offensive bag just needs to improve for them to win a championship. Whether it's him being more consistent 3-point shooter or him developing the mid-range, in some type of way, he needs to be more creative. Also, it wouldn't hurt to Budenholzer put him in the right places, but I still think Giannis needs an overall offensive improvement. I look at Giannis as kind of the face of the NBA once old man Bron is gone, so I really want to see him take that leap. And although this team does obviously have more spacing, best believe teams are still going to run that wall defense on Giannis. Now obviously they're more equipped to handle it, but just in case as a backup plan. If the shooters start struggling in the playoffs, Giannis needs to have a mid-range to go to. I don't know, man. It's hard to put my hands around this team. It's one of those wait and see things, obviously. I'm not gonna make any hot takes, but let's hope this works, because if not, and Giannis takes his talent somewhere else, things could get bad very quick for the Bucks. But yeah, day one of trades has been as advertised. 2 bombs already dropped. With more dropped, of course, I'm gonna be back here again. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Tings if you're new. But until next time, it is your boy 22 Khalil, and as they always say in Japan, Jamatane. Peace.